This week, you have learned how to sketch the graph of the function defined by this form y equals f of the quantity x minus d. And you have learned that this form of a circular function, or specifically sine and cosine functions, this is translated horizontally compared dun sa graph niya na y equals f of x. Okay? At yung ating d value will determine kung siya ay translated to the right of f of x or translated to the left of f of x. If this is greater than 0, translated siya horizontally to the right. Okay? To the right of y equals f of x. And if d is less than 0, translated siya to the left of the graph of the function y equals f of x. Okay? Now, ang tawag natin dito, kung natatandaan nyo, is the argument. Argument. Okay? At ang tawag natin dito sa horizontal translation ay phase shift. Okay? Okay. Phase shift siya. Now, natutunan nyo rin doon yung meaning of the vertical translation, but right after this video, I'm going to show you again or review about the vertical translation. Yung ating na-solve o na-sketch na graph of ng functions or circular function is in the form of y equals sine quantity x minus d, and the other one is y equals a cosine quantity x minus d. Okay? And today, you're going to learn how to sketch the graph of the function in the form of y equals a cosine b quantity x minus d. And this will be my first example for today's lesson. Okay, paano ba natin i-graph yung function in the form of y equals a cosine b quantity x minus d? And the example, or the function to be graphed is y equals negative 2 cosine quantity 3x plus pi over 2 periods. So I'm going to show you two methods in sketching the graph of the said function. For method 1, i-apply natin yung mga previous nating natutunan in sketching the graph of a sine and cosine functions translated the units to the left or right of the original function. So we use method 1. For method 1, kunin muna natin yung 1 period. Okay? Yung 1 period muna. Although 2 periods ang ating pinapakuha sa atin, kunin muna natin yung sketch niya. Yung 1 period muna using yung 3-part inequality. Okay? So we have, this is our argument. That will be the center of the inequality. Or 3-part inequality. We have 0 to the left, less than or equal to 3x plus pi, less than or equal to 2 pi. Okay. Then I'm going to subtract all of the 3 parts by pi. So we have here negative pi less than or equal to 3x na lang. Ano? Minus pi here, matatanggalin pi, minus pi here, and also minus pi to 2 pi, that will become pi. And then I'm going to divide all of these 3 parts by 3. Okay? Para ma-solve natin yung x. And that values of x, yun yung kanyang interval dun sa isang period. So divide all of the terms by 3. So we have negative pi over 3 less than or equal to x less than or equal to pi over 3. So ibig sabihin yung interval natin using the 3-part inequality is negative pi over 3 comma pi over 3 inclusive. Yun yung ating interval at ito ay isang period yan. From negative pi over 3 to pi over 3. Next is, kunin natin yung key x values. Okay? Paano makukuha yung key x values natin? We're going to apply the concept of midpoint. Okay? So, kunin natin, di-divide natin to 4 equal parts yung ating interval. Negative pi over 3 is the least. At yung pinaka mataas is pi over 3. We get the sum divided by 2 is 0. Okay? Negative pi over 3 plus pi over 3 is 0 divided by 2. That will be 0. So, ito yung midpoint of these two. Okay? Then we get the midpoint of this. Negative pi over 3 plus 0 is negative pi over 3 divided by 2 is negative pi over 6. Then 0 plus pi over 3 divided by 2 is pi over 6 also. So, ito na yung ating key x values. Gawa tayo ngayon ng table of values. So, we have here the x value. Then, we have here, kailangan natin doon? 3x. So, we have here 3x. We have here 3x plus pi. Then, we have cosine 3x plus pi. And the last one is negative 2 cosine 3x plus pi. Okay? Then, lagay natin yung mga x values natin. Negative pi over 3, negative pi over 6, 0, pi over 6, pi over 3. Okay? Okay. Next, we solve 3x. 3x plus pi. Cosine quantity 3x plus pi. Negative 2 cosine 3x plus pi. We have 3 times negative pi over 3 is negative. Okay. That will be negative pi. 3x, which is negative pi plus pi, is 0. Okay. Cosine 0 is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Okay. Next, negative pi over 6 times 3 is negative pi over 2. Negative pi over 2 plus pi is pi over 2. Cosine pi over 2 is 0. Okay. And negative 2 times 0 is 0. Next, we have, if x is 0, so that will be 3 times 0 is 0. And 3x plus pi is pi. And cosine pi is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. Pi over 6 times 3 is pi over 2. Pi over 2 plus pi is 3 pi over 2. And 3 pi over 2 cosine of this actually is 270 degrees. So, nasa baba siya ng ating y-axis. So, cosine 3 pi over 2 is negative 1. 0. Dapat memorya nyo talaga yon. And 0 times negative 2 is 0. Pi over 3 times 3x is pi. Okay? Pi plus pi is 2 pi. Cosine 2 pi is 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. So, completed na. Okay? So, I suggest lang, magdagdag pa tayo dito ng ng other half ng ating interval para makuha natin yung period. Kasi ang period nito is, ano bang period nito? So, let us determine the period of this function by factoring this by 3 at makuha natin yung value of b. So, kung tandaan nyo pa, y equals negative 2 cosine, factoring out 3. So, this will be x plus pi over 3. So, shifted siya by pi over 3 to the left. Kasi positive siya. Ang di natin dito, yung form natin of the function is negative. Aside from that, yung ating period is equal to 2 pi over b. Ang b natin dito ay 3. So, therefore, ang period ay 2 pi over 3. So, magdagdag pa tayo dito. Okay? So, ano idadagdag natin? Dapat magkameron ng 2 pi over 3. So, ang other half niya, ito yung gitna, ano? So, other half niya, magdagdag tayo ng pi over 3. Ito yung isang period kasi, negative pi over 3 to pi over 3. From 0 to 2 pi over 3. So, gawa tayo dito ng 2 pi over 3. Okay? So, from 0 to pi over 3, from pi over 3 to 2 pi over 3. Okay? Now, actually, this is 2 pi. No? So, the next, after 2 pi, if we're going to rotate again 2 pi in counterclockwise direction para makuha natin yung next quadrant angle. Discuss ko na yung quadrant angle sa inyo. Yun yung 0 degree, 90, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, 360 degrees. Ano? So, mga value nito ay 0. Dito ay pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. So, the next quadrant angle is 450 degrees. So, that is equal to what? So, using your scientific calculator, so, next quadrant angle natin is 450 divided by 180 para malagay sa pi. So, 5 pi over 2. Okay? Ang next quadrant angle nito is 540. Okay? Yan yung angle na kung saan tumama yung ating initial and terminal side sa x or y axis. Tawag natin quadrant angle. 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. Magagamit natin yan para makuha natin yung value or values of x next to pi over 3. Pero kung gagamitin natin yung period, ito yung kasunod. Okay? So, nagdagdag lang ako dito ng pi over 3. Kasi half ito eh. 0 to pi over 3 is half nung period natin. So, pag nagdagdag ako dito ng pi over 3, 2 pi over 3. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, meron pa sa gitna ito. Ngayon sa gitna, di kunin natin ang midpoint. Pi over 3 plus 2 pi over 3 divided by 2. So, that will be pi over 2. Okay? So, pi over 2 times 3 is 3 pi over 3. 3 pi over 2. And 3 pi over 2 plus pi is 5 pi over 2. And cosine 5 pi over 2, actually, quadrant angle na to, 450 degrees. So, ibig sabihin, yung kanyang terminal side ay nasa positive y-axis. So, ibig sabihin, 0 ang cosine doon. And then, negative 2 times 0 is 0. 2 pi over 3, ito, okay? So, 2 pi over 3 times 3 is 2 pi. 2 pi plus pi is 3 pi. So, ang 3 pi natin is 540 degrees. O, ibig sabihin, nandun siya sa negative x-axis, yung terminal side. So, parang pi din ang cosine niya. So, ang cosine ng 3 pi, negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 2, positive 2. Yan. So, ito yung negative pi over 3 to pi over 3, isang period yon. Okay? Pero kung naglagay pa ako ng other, yung half to the right. Okay? Kasi ang period kasi natin from 0 to the right is 2 pi over 3. Yun yung one period natin. Pero ito yung one period din. Half to the right and half to the left. Para makuha natin yung isang buong period to the right, so I added other half ng period natin, which is pi over 2 and 2 pi over 3. Okay? Now, so dito, pag magdadagdag ka, meron ka rin ditong negative pi over 2 at negative 2 pi over 3. So, lagyan natin, ha? So, negative pi over 2 tsaka negative 2 pi over 3. So, pag nilagyan natin doon, negative pi over 2 times 3 is negative 3 pi over 2. Negative 3 pi over 2, pabalik lang ang ikot, negative 3 pi. So, 540. Doon din ang tama niya sa so, isang ikot. Ay dito naman sa negative y-axis. Kapag ganito siya. So, negative. Yan. Doon naman tatama. Okay? So, 0 doon ang cosine. Okay? So, by the way, plus 3 pi pa pala. Negative 3 pi over 2 plus pi. So, ano yun? Negative 3 pi plus over 2 plus pi. So, that will be negative 3 pi over 2 plus pi. That will be 2 pi. So, that will be negative pi over 2. So, negative pi over 2. Ibig sabihin, 90 degrees yan. Pakaliwa ang ikot na andito. So, ibig sabihin, nasa negative y-axis siya, ng ating y-axis. So, we have negative pi over 2. Ang cosine dyan is 0. Negative 2 times 0 is 0. So, what else? Negative 2 pi over 3 times 3 is negative 2 pi. Negative 2 pi plus pi is negative pi. So, negative pi, edi nasa dito naman siya. 180 degrees. Starting from the positive x-axis and then clockwise direction. So, ibig sabihin, ang cosine dyan, negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. Okay. So, yun yung mga values natin. So, nagdagdag ako ng other half to the right at nagdagdag ako ng other half ng ating period to the left. Okay? So, from 0 to 2 pi over 3, 1 period to the right. From 0 to negative 2 pi over 3, 1 period to the left. So, 2 periods na siya. Kasi yun ang required dun sa atin. Okay? Now, para makuha yung other half, ito, ang ginawa ko kasi I added pi over 3 to pi over 3 para makuha yung 2 pi over 3. And then, I use midpoint para makuha yung gitna nitong dalawa. Okay? But there is another way para makuha natin yung other half ng x values natin. Paano? Dito ka mag-start. Kung mapapansin ninyo, ito ay 0, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, 360 degrees. So, ibig sabihin, mga quadrant angles yon. So, kung dito ako magsisimula, this is 360. The next quadrant angle is 450 degrees. And 450 degrees is 5 pi over 2. Again, dito ako nag-start, 5 pi over 2. Paano ko makukuha naman yon? So, magsusubtract naman ako ng pi. So, 5 pi over 2 minus pi para makuha ko si 3x. Sa calculator, ganito. 5 halves na lang. So, 5 halves. And then, r to the right. Minus 1. Pa yun. Para makuha ko yung 3 pi over 2. Paano ko na makukuha yung pi over 2? So, magdi-divide naman ako ng 3 para makuha ko yung x. So, i-divide ko naman yun ng 3. 1 half. So, 1 half is this one, pi over 2. Dito naman, this is 450 degrees. So, the next quadrant angle is 540. And 540 is 3 pi. So, 3 pi ito. 3 pi, parang makukuha yung 3x. Ay di 3 pi minus pi, 2 pi. Paano ko naman makukuha yung x? Ay di 2 pi divide by 3. 2 pi over 3. Okay? Yun, ganun ang pagkuha ng other half. Yung other half nung period natin to the right. At ganun din makukuha natin yung other half nung period natin to the left. Okay? So, the next is, pwedeng mag-add ka ng pi over 3 para makuha to. And then you get the midpoint para makuha to. Or, dito ka mag-start. Kunin mo yung mga quadrant angles. And then, pataas ka. Okay? I subtracted here pi to solve for 3x. And then, I divided this by 3 to solve for x. Okay? So, pwede. Kahit pa paano, kahit alin, pwede. Okay? So, the next is, i-plot natin itong mga points. Tapos, i-connect natin yung mga points para makapag-form tayo. May sketch natin yung graph ng given function. Okay? Paano tayo ng xy plane. So, we have here negative 2 pi over 3. Dito muna tayo. Negative pi over 3. Pi over 3 here. Pi over 6. Okay. Baliktad. Sorry. Start tayo sa negative pi over 6. Remember, pi over 3 is 60 degrees. So, pi over 6 muna. Kasi 30 degrees yan. Pi over 3. Then, pi over 2. Then, 2 pi over 3. Dito, negative pi over 6. Negative pi over 3. Negative pi over 2. Negative 2 pi over 3. Okay. Now, plot natin yung points. We have negative 2 pi over 3, 2. So, lagay natin dito. And then negative pi over 2 is 0. And then negative pi over 3, negative 2. So, lagay natin dito, negative 2. And then, negative pi over 6, 0. Negative, 0, 2. Then, pi over 6, 0. Pi over 3, negative 2. Dito. Galing ko na to. Okay, next. Pi over 2, 0. And then 2 pi over 3, 2. 2 pi over 3, 2. So, ito yung ating graph ng function. Yan. So, ito si function y equals negative 2 cosine 3x plus pi. Okay? So, that is method 1 in sketching the graph of y equals a cosine b quantity x minus d. Okay. Thank you.